Authorizing. Access granted. Welcome to Saccharum Laboratories.
Thank you, Dexus, and welcome back to the Lab Trainers for another episode of Pokéology, a show where each week we become one step closer to understanding how Pokémon live in their natural habitats. My name is Professor Saccharum, and today we're going to be taking a look at the sinister and silly Pokémon, Chandelure.
You're afraid of it?
No, I'm not.
Then lower the Spectre shield.
I will do no such thing.
Scaredy cat.
That was just uncalled for. Before we get started, here are the topics we will be looking at when we research our Pokemon. First, we'll take a look at some general information. Then we'll see what the Pokemon looks like. Thirdly, we'll figure out what the Pokemon eats, and then we'll see where we can actually find the Pokemon. After that, our supercomputer and Pokemon database Dexus will tell us what the Pokedex says about the Pokemon. Next, we'll see how the Pokemon behaves, and then after that, we'll see how it survives. And finally, we'll tie things up with some battle strategy. So there's no turning back now. Let's begin. Chandelure are classified as the luring Pokemon and are dual ghost and fire types. The average height of Chandelure is about 3'3", which converts to 1 meter. And they weigh an average of 75.6 pounds, which is also 34.3 kilograms. You know, I thought they'd actually be heavier than that. Oh well. I guess the last thing to say would be that these Pokemon don't evolve, because they're the final evolution of their line. Gotta get yourself that Dusk Stone. Am I right? Well, this may sound weird, but Chandelure are ghost Pokemon that have taken on the form of a chandelier. So if you've ever seen one of those, you have a basic concept of what this Pokemon looks like. But let's go into some greater details so that you can stay safe. That's right, I said safe, but we'll touch on that later. For now, you'll notice that Chandelure are mainly black in color. The flames on the tips of their hands and head are purple. This is because they're Pokemon that are not naturally from this world, so things on them look different. But that's with most ghost Pokemon. The head of a Chandelure looks like it came straight out of the pumpkin patch. The shape of the head anyway. And actually its head is slightly transparent and has a glass texture. It's pretty neat, but spooky if you ask me. I'm not super comfortable with it, but I think that's mainly because of the dark markings that actually make this Pokemon's natural deadpan face. What's even creepier is that these markings actually make up Chandelure's eyes and mouth. I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. But the other dark markings are just another detail for Chandelure to blend in and make sure it's hidden in plain sight. Just be careful when looking at its face because those eyes can cause people and Pokemon alike to become confused. This Pokemon has an incredibly small torso compared to the rest of its body. It also ends with a dull cone shape. Oh, you see those two things sticking out from the sides of it? Those are actually its arms. Yes, they're curved, and yes, the candle holders are appendages that are used as fingers. Now you might think that this Pokemon is just a possessed chandelier, but maybe you're looking at it the wrong way. What if this Pokemon looks this way because of a reaction to coming to our world combined with the Dusk Stone? Now hold on, the Dusk Stone part is obvious because that's how it evolves. But what if, in the world that Lampent comes from, it's never meant to evolve? But it evolves because it comes into contact with this specific stone, which could have energy levels between our world and theirs. And this reaction changes Lampent drastically. Now, I tried looking for a word that described Chandelure's diet, and the results were inconclusive. So I came up with my own term. I call it Solivore. And it's simply because Chandelure, along with the rest of its evolutionary line, live on a strict diet of spirits and energy. Chandelure are particularly frightening because they not only eat the souls of Pokemon, but they eat the souls of humans as well. Look, I really can't say where Chandelure are because of safety regulations, but most of the people who end up going out to record their findings don't come back. So instead, I am allowed and capable of telling you where its weaker evolution Litwick resides. Just be careful because you may stumble upon a wild Chandelure, which at that point it may be too late, but you can find Litwick in the following locations. Unova Celestial Tower, which is past Mistralton City on Route 7, and there's also the Strange House at the base of Reversal Mountain. You'll also be able to find them in Kalos' Lost Hotel, which is between Route 15 and 16, but it's lost, so I can't really say where it is. Oh, and you can find Lampent in the Kalos Friend Safari in Keyloud City. I'm allowed to tell you this because these Lampent have been tamed and are no threat to humans. Chandelure is such a mysterious and dangerous Pokemon that it's taken several research teams to come up with the 3 entries that we have thus far. And to be honest, they're all quite similar, so you can tell that we weren't able to get much information. But, Dexis, I'm going to need you to open up Pokemon Research Log 609 and read the little amount of information that we have on Chandelure.
Why do I always have to do everything?
Can we not start this now?
Fine, fine. Your wish is my command, O Master of the Lab. So, the researchers of Unova, Kalos, and Hoenn worked together to study Chandelure, and this is what they were able to find. Being consumed in Chandelure's flames burns up the spirit, leaving the body behind. The spirits burned up in its ominous flame lose their way and wander this world forever. Then the researchers of Unova were lucky enough to get a little more information, and then they logged this. It absorbs a spirit which it then burns. By waving the flames on its arms, it puts its foe into a hypnotic trance.
Chandelure take on a very important role as ringleader in the ordering of their colonies. The colonies consist of multiple Litwick and a few Lampent, with usually one Chandelure as their leader. These Pokemon are quite evil in their ways. Chandelure usually hide alongside Lampent so that the Litwick can lure and prey without becoming suspicious of the large group's activity. They have a silly personality when you own one, but in the wild, their one priority and only concern is where their next meal will come from. Chandelure's primary form of defense are its ability to manipulate fire and its arms. However, the way it hunts for food depends on the Pokemon's living situation. If it's a Chandelure that lives in groups, then it takes on a military position, leading out troops of Litwick to weaken opponents by draining minimal energy and keep enemies off guard by being so cute. Then it will send out Lampent to severely weaken the target to the point where the prey will not be able to defend itself. And finally, Chandelure will come in for the kill. Literally. If it gets to the point that Chandelure has appeared, then you can consider yourself a goner. There have only been a rare few to have gotten away from that type of attack. But let's say Chandelure is a loner. Then it hunts quite differently. The Pokemon is able to use the energy in its environment to keep itself going. But in order for it to really gain any strength, it lures in medium and smaller sized Pokemon into its nest and takes their souls discreetly. There are some times that Chandelure has to combat opponents that are too strong for it to take their soul. So this Pokemon will do everything in its power to keep the opponent at bay. The fire attacks that Chandelure uses will not only weaken the opponent, but can potentially leave it with a bad burn status condition, which only weakens the target even further. And while Chandelure is fighting, it will also try to steal life force energy from the target. So, essentially, everything and anything can become food for Chandelure. Now it's time for our battle strategy portion of the video. So the first thing you're going to want to know about Chandelure is that they are Ghost Fire type Pokemon, which means that they are weak to Ghost, Ground, Water, Dark, and Rock type moves, but they resist Poison, Bug, Steel, Fire, Grass, Ice, and Fairy type moves, and are even immune to both normal and fighting type moves. Dexis, let's see that base stat chart, please.
Can I get paid for this?
I'm not even getting paid for this.
Then maybe I don't want to work for you anymore.
We'll talk about an upgrade later, but come on, we're in the middle of an episode!
I guess that's okay then.
Thank you. So, anyway, from left to right, Chandelure has a pretty bad HP stat, laying at 60, so there's no natural bulk there. Chandelure's attack stat is at an even worse 55, so physical hits are a no-go. The defense looks a little better, sitting at base 90. And Great Ghouling Ghost 145 special attack! I don't even need to say it anymore. It's done. That's great there. You're good special attack wise. Moving on, so... Anyway, special defense, still not bad, being the same as 90, the same as defense. And then the speed stat isn't awful. Sits at an 80. So, he's a bit of a speedy Spectre. Not bad. Now we need to look at the 3 abilities that Chandelure can have access to, which are Flash Fire, Flame Body, and its hidden ability, Infiltrator.
Flash Fire. When hit with a fire-type move, this Pokemon will not receive damage and will receive a 1.5 times damage boost to fire-type moves. Flame Body. The opponent has a 30% chance of getting burned when using a physical contact move. Infiltrator ignores the effects of Substitute, Reflect, Light Screen, and Safeguard.
Thanks, Texas. Now that we have all that, we can move on to our sets. Our first set requests that you have a Chandelure with a timid nature and the ability Flash Fire. Make it look fancy with a Choice Scarf and spread the EV's 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. Then give it the moves Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and either Trick or Memento. Our second set asks you to have a Chandelure with either a timid or modest nature and the ability Flash Fire. Make this ghost look like Mr. Osborne with the choice specs and spread the EV's 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. Then give it the moves Fire Blast or Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and finally Trick. Set number 3 demands a timid nature and the ability Flash Fire. This Chandelure is hungry, so give it the leftovers item to hold and spread the EV's 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed as always. Then give it the move Substitute, Calm Mind, Flamethrower, and Shadow Ball. And for our final set, nab yourself a Chandelure with a timid nature once again and the ability Flash Fire. This Chandelure is also pretty peckish, so give it the leftovers item to hold and spread the EV's 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. Then give it the moves Overheat, Shadow Ball, Substitute, and either Will-O-Wisp or Psych Up. And there you have it, Chandelure, the Soul Thief. What was that? Texas, take over!
Wait, Professor, this is your final speech. Sigh. If you think we missed anything or you learned something new, let us know in the comments section below. By doing that, along with liking, subscribing, and following the socials, you have multiple entries into the Saccharum raffle, where you can win one of the Chandelure sets we talked about today. Thanks for watching. That was Professor Saccharum, and I am called Dexus, and we will see you next time when you visit the lab. I'll sign us out. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you're still unsure about subscribing but still want to see more, then click on one of the links on the screen to see more videos made by the professor. To stay up to date with work in the laboratory, check in the description where you will find the professor's social media links. Thank you for visiting Saccharum Laboratories, and have a wonderful day.